Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Please continue to show your support by leaving a dislike on this video. I went on another blind date earlier today, and it went very well. I want to say and we'll be meeting up again soon. And that's exactly why I like it when why I like getting set up on blind dates. I have a hard time getting that first date, and why do I have a hard time with that? Well, I go out into the world, and it's a noisy world, right? uh, and there's no way to interject yourself into that. So you guys see me. I record a lot of videos in the student union. First of all, the student union, the wrong demographics in the first place. But that's the only place where I can actually speak and be heard, right? When I go to a party or a bar and it's noisy, it feels like I'm on mute. But when somebody sets me up on a blind date and there's four of us or six of us, and I get to interact with somebody and I get heard and I get that opportunity to introduce myself because I don't get that opportunity a lot in the real world, right? I just well, I have good rapport with some of my students. One of my students thought it was a real bad idea for me to set up these rewards for the blind dates, but you know what? I explained to him um, two out of three because he's studying math. So I asked him to do the percentages. I told him that out of 14 first dates, nine of them have resulted in second dates. What's the percentage of that? And he showed me his beautiful calculation. Okay. And out of 14 blind dates, or 14 first dates, three of them have resulted in relationships that lasted more than 6 months. Tell me what percent that is. And he told me. He did both calculations really beautifully. So that's good. And I told him, do you know what the big problem is? He said, what? I said, in 10 years, I've only gone on 14 first dates. That's where the problem lies. And so, and he understood that. So I was able to convince him. And he said, you sound desperate. I am desperate, right? And why hide it anymore, right? If you had cancer, would you hide the fact and not get treatment, right? But some people get blindsided by stuff like that, right? They don't like to hear unconventional solutions. I'm so glad. I love younger generation people because they're very easy to snap out of it, right? The societal delusion that we have, just snap right out of it, right? And similarly, my friend at the church who set me up on this blind date. So he's won two of the rewards. So another friend has won the other one. Um, he's not closed off to this idea. He actually didn't want the rewards, but you know what? Good karma is very important to me. Especially, I need to build the relationship on solid honesty, right? To not give him the reward just because he doesn't want it would kind of ruin the whole spirit of the whole situation. But um, here's the problem. Here's the crux of the problem. I really don't like the way our society treats people when they're down. Part of you got to remember why I went back to the dating scene in the first place. 4 months ago, I live in Phoenix, Arizona. 4 months ago, it was 115 degrees outside. I had COVID-19, and I didn't like the way I was treated by our society. What had happened was I was living alone. I had COVID-19, and I had to go out to get some of my comfort foods, and I was disoriented. I was dehydrated, and it was 115 degrees. I had to kind of camp out inside the store eating, and the store security gave me a hard time. I was sitting on a mobility scooter which I really despise doing. On a good day, when I'm not sick, when it's 70 degrees outside, that's the last place I would like to sit down and eat. Right? It's not like it's a beautiful place that I want to hide out. Right? It's not like I'm trying to break into a mansion just to enjoy it. Right? The security guard treated me like I was doing that. Right? And it's one thing that the security guard hassled me. It's another that this is not an isolated incident, right? You got to remember when I'm well and I'm putting on my A game at my job, that's not how society treats me, right? So in other words, society treats me like a dirty towel, right? As soon as they're done using me, they just toss me out, right? That's the feeling I got when I dealt with the COVID and the heat wave situation last year, right? You ever feel like that? At the prime of your life, you're a clean towel. Oh, you could do all this stuff. As soon as you're dirty, goodbye, right? And that's how I felt about that whole situation. And it really highlighted that we need some camaraderie. And the best camaraderie one can have is some sort of romantic life partner, or not necessarily romantic, but a life partner, right? And that's when I decided to return to the dating world. But then I quickly discovered the dating world is full of stuff like that too, right? You got a group of guys who is looking to hook up with somebody, and one guy finds a girl for himself, and guess what? He leaves his tribe behind, right? And it's just a very disgusting feeling, right? And those are not the only examples that I want to talk about, right? I really admire the my friend at the church because he's been happily married for probably 5, 10 years, and he doesn't leave his tribe behind, right? He still has friends that he had from 5, 10 years ago that he didn't leave behind after he got married, and that's why I insisted on giving him that reward that I offered, even though he's well off and doesn't need it, right? But I think he needs it a lot more than he thinks he does, though, because he's I want to say he's in his 40s, and when I gave him that silver bar, he had no idea what it was worth. He had to Google it. And what was really funny was that I gave him, among other things, a silver bar and some of those bismuth of Ganesh's. And he looked up the silver first because it said on. He didn't understand the other metal. He looked up what is a kilogram of silver worth on his phone. And when he got the answer, he was like, "Oh my god, how much did you give me? This is already what 1,000, and then all this, this even more beautiful metal. What is this like another 50,000?" He thought he didn't know it was bismuth, but he thought bismuth was worth more than silver, and it just goes to show how much he needs both of those metals, and he doesn't even understand it. And he's going to thank me later, which is why I insisted on giving it to him, because 10, 20 years down the road, he's going to thank me even more. But that just goes to show there's all sorts of smarts in the world, right? There's book smart, there's street smart, there's financially smart, and all the rest, right? But continue to pray for me by leaving a dislike on this video. I need to make more friends just like him. He needs to make more friends just like me, right? And so pray for both of us. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.